Hello everyone, this is Rishi again. So strings are basically a very important object in Java. As you know that we learned strings in primitive data types itself. Of course, it's not a primitive data type. So how do we declare a string? So suppose I want to create an instance variable for a string. It will be a string and let's say first name. Simple as that, and you define that, right? Rishi. Okay. Infosys. I can do that, correct? Now, strings are very peculiar. You can actually assign string a value directly. Okay, you can also assign the string with null because string is an object. Remember that. So let's say last name and null. As a matter of fact, when you are using instance variables, the default value of string is null. That means you don't have to specify that. So address and you just give a semicolon. It's gonna be null anyway. Okay. So now let's take some examples like how do we actually manage strings, okay, search into strings, concatenate strings, and a number of things with strings. Cool with that? So first thing we're gonna do is how do we compare strings? Okay, so let's go ahead. So first thing I'll just declare a string variable. So string test1 and I'll be declaring test1 here. And what I will do is simply sysout test1. That's one way of doing it. And if I print it, obviously it's going to print test1. Now, suppose there is another one, string test2. Now, you can actually, wait a second, test2. You can actually combine multiple strings together. Let's say A, B, C. And you can use plus symbol. Okay, so there are multiple ways. I'm just giving you the first one, the plus symbol. And then append another string directly, or you can use variable as well. So you can just say test1. That's also possible. So what's going to happen, the content of test2 will be ABC, that is a one string, and test1 content. So it's going to be printing ABC test1. That's how it goes. So here you go. And test2. And you can continue to do that. So if you have a complex string, okay, if you have a complex string to work with, you can do that. You can just add multiple strings into it, and that is completely okay. Good. So now let's write a better sentence and then search something into the string. So string, then you can just say text equals, and they say this is my first string detailed class. Now remember that every single alphabet, every single character in the string has an index. That means this one has an index 0, this one has 1, this one has 2, and it goes on that way. So you can literally find out index of something. Okay, so you can just find out index of, let's say, my, or index of first. So index of first will be starting from 0 to this particular character f. How many indexes? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This will also be a 4 because empty space is also string. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So ideally 11 should be index of first. So how do you get that index? So you can do that with the help of index of. So integer, and you can just say index of first, and you can use text dot. You can use the function index of, and you can specify first. So what's going to happen? It basically searches the index of this, and if you want to print it, go ahead and do that. Oops, sorry about that. Sysout and say index of first and print. And if I run this code, it's going to give me the output. Index of first is 11. You got that? Now suppose I pass something here which is not there in the string, and not there at all. Okay, what's going to happen? So this is, I'm just checking whether this string has Rishi in it or not. So does it have Rishi? No. So index of non-existing character or sequence of strings is basically -1. So if you found -1, that means this particular character doesn't exist in this string. So if I search that, It's -1 because it doesn't have it. Simple as that. You can also see our previous test, which is ABC test 1. Okay. The next thing is, how do we compare strings? So let's compare. How do we do that? So strings are compared with equals. Okay. So I can just say test3 equals, and then you just say test, and remove this. So now this one, test1 and test3, looks same. So how can I test them together, or can I use equal symbol? So if test1 equal test3, is this completely wrong? No, it's not wrong, but it's not an ideal way to do things. So if I sys out this, test1 is equals to test3. Okay, and you can also see they are not equal. Now if that is the thing, just go ahead and run this and see what happens. Test1 is equals to test3. This is fine. This is absolutely correct. But strings are not basically tested with this phenomenon, this function. You can use equals for that. So string or text dot string equals. Okay, so string dot equals is the method. Equals is actually equaling the particular method instances. Okay, so let's see how it works. Okay, and you get the value. Now I'm not expecting any change in the values. Okay, it is completely okay. Now you can actually use a variation of equals. Okay, when you are equaling something, when you are testing for equals, remember that this equal function is for objects. You can check equality of object. Now, how do we do that? We will see that later. We'll have to use compare to method and all those. We will see compare to later. But strings are compared with equals. Now equals has a variation. So suppose I have small test here and a capital test here. Okay, and if I run this code, I'm gonna getting they are not equal for sure. So you can actually do that. So for you as a meaning context, okay, if you are literally searching for a meaning of string, both of them are basically saying test. And if you want to check a meaning, then you can ignore the cases. So you can just say equal ignore case. Ignore that case and just test it. That's how it goes. So if I say ignore case, then what will happen? It will just check, and it says test1 and test3 are basically equal. Good with that? Okay. So now let's proceed ahead. There are multiple ways to combine strings. So whenever we are reading a string from a file, we are continuously reading a stream of strings together, or we are adding something in loop, we can use multiple objects. I'm going to give you some introductory objects here. The first one is StringBuffer. StringBuffer being the oldest one to combine multiple strings together and form a string. So StringBuffer. Okay, and you say buffer equals to a new string buffer. That's how it, and you can also give the capacity of this, like I want to create 1 MB of string, something like that. It's not mandatory though, it gives you a default size also. So that is the string buffer instantiation. Now what happens is, now you have, let's say, some strings getting added in a loop. Let's do that. So for, I'm defining a loop here, integer I equals to 0. I can just say I less than or equals to 10 and say I plus plus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all these i's together, probably with a space or something. Okay, and let's do that. So it will be buffer dot append. Okay, and append, you can use integer, you can use boolean, you can whatever you want. Okay, so here I'm just saying number I, and then you specify I. So what's going to happen? This particular string is getting generated every single time. Say number I, and then you append underscore, and that is I. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, and also add some space before, so that it will be a continuous stream. Fine. So what's going to happen when I value is 0? It's going to add number I. This is append. Remember this. Okay. So now, if this completes, what you get out of it? So sys out, and then if you want to take a string out of it, I'll also tell you how to read the string. So I'll say final string equals, and you can just say buffer dot to string. That's the way, and you can print this final string. So what's append is doing basically, it's adding the strings together and creating a string in buffer. Buffer is a memory. Okay, run this and see this. You got this one 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Cool with this. Now you can do the exact, you will achieve the exact result. I'll just give a string buffer. Yeah. So string buffer I. You can use exact same scenario with string builder. So there is another object called string builder. Import that. It's from java.lang only. String builder. String builder give you the same kind of result. So what's the difference? Why exactly we use builder or buffer? What should be the proper way? So string builder or string buffer, the difference is thread safety. Okay, so we're going to talk about thread safety when we will understand multi-threading. Okay, so at that time we will see that. But string buffer and string builder are the most common object which are used for this purpose. Now in Java, okay, so you can just run this by the way and then take the results as well. So I'll be replacing this one with the builder and of course run this code. Okay, so you have string buffer and string builder doing the same activity what it does. Cool with this. Now the next step is how do we concatenate multiple strings. Now there are multiple ways to read this HTML files or even text files, okay, line by line. We're gonna see that when you are reading files also. But here I'm going to tell you in Java 13 and Java 14 there is an introductory feature has been added called as block strings. So block strings are specified with 3. So you can just say this is text underscore block, and you have to give 3 quotes, double quotes, okay, and then define a proper string. So this is like this is another string with, and you don't actually need this plus symbol. It's not taking the block string on my computer. That's the issue. And you should write within this. This is idle way, but my compiler is not adjusted on 14, but this is an introductory feature. So this is introductory feature for Java 13 and 14, and it might get finalized, okay, in future. Okay, that is up to you. So this is it. This is basically the last thing I wanted to tell you about string. But yeah, as of now it's not finalized feature, so don't use this block strings as of now. You have to also adjust your compiler to use preview features, allow preview features. Okay, so don't do that as of now. Okay, once they finalize this, only then you should use that. Cool with this. Now we will learn deeper into strings as we go, as we proceed, but these are the basic info. This is the basic information you should know before learning the next topic. So thanks a lot everyone. Have a good one. Enjoy your time.